Okay. Should we start the thingy?
Sure. What is
Okay.
the thingy?
The thingy is the podcast.
That was my attempt at a segue.
Oh. I was just gonna start the intro.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Do 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 bow.
Hello and welcome to Rewatch. What are we calling this thing now?
Um,
Rewatchers?
I think just rewatch.
Rewatch. So, welcome to Rewatch, where we rewatch shows we love and share our thoughts. It's a pretty self explanatory title.
Yeah, you can never assume these things.
True. I'm Sarah,
And I'm Clint.
and this episode we're going to be talking about Book 1, Episode 4 of Avatar The Last Airbender.
And what is the title of this episode?
Title of this episode is The Warriors of Kyoshi, written by Nick Malice and directed by Giancarlo Volpe. So, quick overview of this episode, courtesy of the wiki page. Aang brings Katara and Sokka to Kyoshi Island to ride the giant koi fish, but after a close encounter with the Unagi, the team is captured by a group of female warriors. Aang reveals he is a reincarnation of Kyoshi Island's founder, Avatar Kyoshi, so the villagers celebrate the arrival of the Avatar. Word of the Avatar's arrival eventually reaches Zuko, who sails to Kyoshi Island immediately. Sokka befriends the warrior leader Suki, who manages to change his sexist attitude. She teaches Sokka the warrior skills of Kyoshi and develops a crush on him in the process. However, Zuko attacks the village and nearly burns it down in pursuit of Aang. Team Avatar is forced to leave the village. As they depart, the young Avatar throws himself into the water and comes up riding the Unagi, which, under his direction, sprays water from its mouth and onto the village, saving it from total ruin. So there we go. That's the basic info for episode 4.
Pretty epic situation we got going on. We got fights, we got giant sea monsters, we got
Mm-hmm.
giant awesome koi fish, we got anti-sexism messages. Woo-hoo.
Yes, this is one of my favorite episodes.
Of the whole show?
I mean, it's one
Really?
of my top ones. Just mostly because of the Warriors of Kyoshi. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think because I love Sokka,
Mm-hmm.
but the first few episodes, he kind of is a sexist asshole.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing that in only 4 episodes he has this huge growth,
Oh yeah,
which is
so
so
much
great.
so. Yeah, and I think that's the point. They wanted to like get there pretty quickly because
Mm-hmm.
it's not really okay
It's
the
not
things
fun
he
to
was
have a
saying.
sexist
No, it's
asshole
not.
be a
It's
main
not.
character for the first season. You don't want him to take it that
No.
long.
No. So it's like already we have this growth because they're captured on the beach. They go to Kyoshi Island and they're captured by the Kyoshi warriors who are these super badass ladies. And
They're
he
basically
automatically
ninjas
assumes
in
basically, yeah.
with fans and face paint.
Yeah, well they're
They're
cuz
like
they're
geisha
not benders.
warriors. Yeah, they're not
Yeah, they're
benders.
not benders. They basically are ninjas cuz I mean their fighting style is very very similar to
Yeah,
ninjutsu or however you pronounce
ninjutsu,
that, which is
ninjutsu,
like the
whatever.
ninja style. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's very much about stealth. But Sokka, he like automatically assumes that they were captured by men because they were blindfolded, and he's saying all these sexist stuff as Sokka does.
Something
And
I noticed that like the sexism of the episode starts even earlier than that
oh
when
yeah,
he is commenting on Katara's place is to mend his pants,
yeah.
and then she throws them in his face, saying, "Oh, look how great a job I've done.
Yeah.
Have fun with your ruined
Have
pants,
fun with your pants.
you piece of
Yeah,
shit."
and he's like, I can't wear these. It's like,
Hmm.
yeah, well, then don't insult the person that's sewing
Hmm.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so the writer was definitely like, I'm gonna insert this right from the start. We're gonna keep this theme
yeah,
going.
yeah. But what I love is like how quickly he swallows his pride. Like he's being an idiot, but as soon as he like goes to them, he goes to them and he's boasting about his fighting style, and then oh, what's her name?
Suki?
Suki, and then Suki kicks his ass.
Mhm.
And so he's like really embarrassed, but then after like taking a moment to reflect, he comes to her and he's like swallows his pride and he's like, "Will you teach me?" And complete turnaround just in that moment, which is
Yeah.
good.
I think the thing that's really impressive about this compared to other girl power episodes, because
Mm-hmm.
I've seen episodes where this is the plot, but the episode ends with the male character recognizing their faults.
Yeah.
Um, but this show goes much farther, where he not only recognizes girls are pretty awesome too, he asks for their training to like teach
Yeah.
him to become better. So,
Exactly.
um, and then it goes even farther with the final scene between Sokka and Suki,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
where it's kind of like turning it on its head, where Sokka has gone so far in the opposite direction that he's not even thinking about her as a woman anymore.
Right.
And then Suki says, "But I'm a girl too," and kisses him
Mm-hmm.
on the cheek.
Yeah.
But so, in classic Clint style, Clint is easily going to be the one that you all know as the nitpick.
What do
So
you have to nitpick about this time?
okay, so Aang clearly has been to Kyoshi Island in the past,
Mm-hmm.
because he knew about these giant koi fish that he could ride on that are in the bay outside this island village.
Mm-hmm.
When did the unagi come? Because obviously it wasn't there 100 years ago. And where did it come from? Where do these creatures breed? I want to know what this species is. Like, is it an immortal creature? What even is this fucking thing?
I mean, I don't know. There's no explanation.
This is what I want to know.
You want to know. You
The
can't just take
mystery.
things at face value.
No, I think that's part of the intriguing nature of the world building in this episode, though, that there's
True.
giant creatures that you just don't understand, and the people in this world don't understand, and
Right.
they just
They just
live
take it as it
amongst
is.
monsters,
Yeah.
and they use
It's
it
just
as a
part of
threat
life.
to execute
Sure, sure. We're
potential
going to throw you
spies.
to the Unagi. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I
Every
mean,
time I hear that, I can only. Have you seen the show Friends?
yes, of course.
So you know the whole episode with Ross and Unagi as his like philosophy of um uh like mindfulness, basically.
Remind me. It
There is a
rings a
there
bell.
is an episode where Ross is being a sexist asshole.
That's
Um,
every episode.
yes, but the writers also agree that he's being a sexist asshole
Sure,
instead of
sure,
subconsciously being a sexist asshole.
sure.
And he's telling some of the ladies that he is like a superior man because his mind is trained with unagi. And then they say, I think that just means eel in Japanese. Yeah, I've had that at a sushi place.
Yep. That, yes. Yes.
So that's what this makes me think of every time they ride and fight the unagi in Avatar.
Oh, I know what I want to talk about here. I mean, I think we all know who the real star of this episode is. It's Foaming Mouth Guy. It's the
Oh,
debut of
oh,
Foaming
man,
Mouth
mouth
Guy.
guy. Yes. Oh my god. Like, there is just something incredible about how this random villager who when he sees Aang bending marbles with his airbending in like between his palms so they're
Yeah.
floating, and this guy loses his shit. Like, it's the greatest thing he's ever seen.
It's pretty amazing.
It makes me laugh every time I see
Every time. But I mean, that actually, it's interesting because then you can kind of, it carries into this whole this like extra plot that Aang is having with Katara with the whole fangirl thing. So he's got these like, he's the avatar and everyone in this village is like so enamored with him because obviously their village was founded by a former avatar and like they're welcoming him, but then the power like goes to his head and Katara is supposedly jealous. That's also something I wanted to talk about. I I
There's something
didn't
I want to
know.
discuss about Aang's attention seeking in the spoilery parts.
Okay.
But if there's something non-spoilery, go ahead.
I don't think it's spoilery. If it starts to get spoilery, we'll pause it. But I didn't really care for their little like tiff that they were having. Like Katara was getting really mad at it. Like you know, obviously since from the beginning of this episode, Aang's trying to impress Katara.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it's safe to infer at this point that he has a crush on her. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
I don't think that's
like
spoilery at all.
it's not there is very strong subtext by this point in the show.
Right. And so or even if it's not like a romantic crush, he like obviously respects her a lot and wants her approval. And so, you know, he is like it's like he's trying to nothing he's been doing up to that point impresses her because she already knows he's the avatar and that he's just a kid, you know, whereas these other girls are like so enamored with him because they've never seen this before, and so he's like using it to try to make her jealous. And then he like calls her out and he says you're just jealous or whatever, and I didn't like that. Like, I hate when guys just like assume, and it seems so out of character for Aang.
Mm-hmm. No, I can see that. I
This might
feel
be again a nitpicky thing, but
No,
it
I think
rubbed
it's
me the
totally
wrong
fair
way.
that it's like we're still in the early episodes. A major important thing is to like not just make you like the characters, but also to like be interested in
Mm-hmm.
what's going on. And things like that I definitely can see as being a bit of a put off. Like especially when it's over something so petty.
Right. The good thing is, I mean, they make up like very quickly, like within this episode, like they both like address the fact that they were Aang let the power get to his head, and Katara was, I don't know what she was doing, but at least they like
Being the
make up.
calm, respectable one who's trying to tell them, let's get out of here before Zuko
I
shows
know.
up.
Yes, that's Katara every time. That's why like it bugs me like when you know people are trying to like get Katara's goat, because I'm like, leave her alone. She's the only reasonable one.
I think the only other non-spoilery thing I have in my notes that I really want to talk about is the entire Zuko invading the town scene
Mm-hmm.
and just how awesome it is. Like,
Yes.
like every single episode so far, except the first episode, but like the first and the second are basically the same one. Every episode has a really great fight sequence,
Mm-hmm.
peppered in with like it's always stunning animation in this show.
Yeah.
Um, there's this like have you ever seen an old fashioned samurai movie?
Kind of.
Okay,
I've seen bits.
there's totally this feel like old westerns and old samurai movies are
Are
basically the
very
same
similar.
movies. Like that's
Yes.
like a well-known thing that there's several westerns that are scene for scene remakes of samurai movies.
Just with guns and lassos. Yeah.
But even then some samurai movies have guns in them because they're set during
True.
like the 1800s sometimes.
True.
Um, but they're still using swords.
With
Um,
cowboy hats.
yes, with cowboy
There we go.
hats and and set in Italy. Well, not really. Like it's filmed in Italy.
Okay.
But the scene where Zuko is invading Kyoshi Island,
Mm-hmm.
um, it really feels like one of those old samurai western films.
It does, because everyone goes inside their house
Mm-hmm.
and
There's
he's
like this
like
one
rolling
main
up to the
thoroughfare.
yeah, he's like rolling up to the gun show, and then the warriors are doing their whole ninja thing, you know.
Yes. And
I
he
was just waiting
calls
for the
out for
song to
him,
play.
doesn't he? Like Zuko says,
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah. He
"Come out,
says,
Avatar! I'm here for you."
yes, he does. No, that's very characteristic of a Western. Yeah, no, now that you say that, I was kind of waiting for the song to play, you know, the na, na,
Wah wah
na, na. Yeah,
wah.
yeah. I was just like,
Wah, wah,
exactly. I mean, like in my head, you know, that's exactly how it feels.
mm-hmm.
Um, and then yeah, and then the fight sequence is great. I was actually gonna bring that up. Um, one thing I came across, in my research and trivia is they bring back when Zuko is fighting with Suki and the Kyoshi Warriors. He does that like sweep the leg thing again that he did in
Yes.
episode 3, and it's like fire bending break dancing, and I
Yes.
love it. And one piece of info that I found, this is just like a tidbit, but I think it's interesting, is Dante Bosco, who voices Zuko,
Mhm.
actually is a breakdancer in real life.
Ah,
He was
that's
part of
excellent.
the Street Freaks breakdancing crew.
Oh my god.
I don't know anything about them, but I just thought that was like an interesting tidbit.
Yeah, there was something when I was watching this scene where I was thinking like it's really cool that they're like able to hold their own against Zuko, but in
Mm-hmm.
the end it's Aang that has to fight him again.
True.
Which at first I thought of like, oh, is this kind of defeating your point? But I'm like, no, this is kind of just like this is actually reinforcing a more feminist message. I think that it's like, yes, they're badass, but they're not like beyond powerful just because they're the ladies in a girl power episode. Like they still have faults. They're
Mm-hmm.
complex still.
Well, and I think that's also, again, you brought up the point of Suki saying, I am a warrior, but I'm also a girl, and I think that's true too. And I also thought that in when she was teaching Sokka, the technique of the Kyoshi warriors, she was talking about how the point of their fighting and their movements is to use their opponent's strength against them, and that's like a very female way of looking at fighting, and I think that's a great thing. There's I don't think you've seen this. There's a movie that came out recently called Atomic Blonde. Charlize Theron, um, and she's a spy, and she fights in such a way that the fight sequences are so well choreographed because it's obvious that she's not trying to fight like a man. Like she
Hmm.
is a woman, and so she has to use what she has and not try to fight like a 6 foot buff guy would.
Hmm.
So it's like she uses um like she's very resourceful. She uses like the things she has around her to aid her in her fighting style, and she is very stealthy, and she uses these guys' strength against them. And I think that's cool that their fighting sequence, that they recognize, we can't fight like men because we're not,
Hmm.
but we can still be badass and powerful, and this is how we do it. So let's move on to the spoilers. Spoilers ahead.
Okay, so the big thing that I have that I took from this as a rewatch is um, we later on get a much better sense of what the four nations are. We really don't have a great
Mm,
sense of that at this point in the show, but we pretty much get that like the world is split into four basic political structures,
right.
with the Water Tribe, the Earth Kingdom, the Air Nomads, and the Fire Nation. But Kyoshi, the leader of Kyoshi Island, I have no idea what his name is. Do you know?
It's Oyaji, I think.
You're probably right. But he says that Kyoshi Island has stayed out of the war for 100 years.
Right.
And the thing that makes me think about that is like, is Kyoshi Island an independent nation state?
Hmm.
Are they like, they seem to like, because Avatar Kyoshi, we know from later on, is an Earth, the Earth Kingdom's avatar in
Yeah.
the cycle.
Yeah. Well, and
Um,
we know Kyoshi Island is it's like off of part of the Earth Kingdom, or it is near the Earth Kingdom.
Yes, and we learn in the episode with Chin the Conqueror that it
Hmm.
used to be attached to the Earth Kingdom.
Right.
Um, and in that episode, Kyoshi mentions, like, because we get to see Kyoshi's spirit in that episode,
Hmm.
saying that's when they declare their independence. And
Hmm.
so I'm like, does this island just govern itself then? Like, and there doesn't seem to be any Earthbenders on this island.
No,
Um,
it's just the warriors.
mhm.
Hmm.
So I think it's a really interesting thing, like to like think about. This world isn't as necessarily as simple as we like are led to believe. Like
As these like
there are,
four things.
yeah, that
Well,
there's
yeah,
some pockets of
right.
independent countries elsewhere
Or
here.
just independent peoples. Like you learn that I'm thinking specifically about the vine benders.
Yeah,
The
the
like
swamp
the
benders.
swamp people. Yeah.
Yes, because they're not beholden to anybody. They're just
No.
wild tribals.
They're
And the
just hanging
Sand
out.
People, too. Like, do
Right,
they
the
pay
Sand
taxes to
People.
the Earth King? I don't think so.
Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think that's an interesting observation because you're right. It's not all cut and dry, you know, Water Tribe, Fire Nation, Earth Kingdom, Air Nomads.
Yeah.
There's other people in this world, which makes it
Like,
very
if you were to
interesting.
draw a political map of this world, it would probably be a lot more complicated than
Then,
just the 4 colors that get put on the
yeah,
map that they
yeah,
show
yeah,
in the
yeah.
opening. Yeah. I also have one other big thing. That's the
Mhm.
thing you were bringing up earlier, how you were pissed about Aang and Katara's fight regarding his like attention seeking.
Yeah,
Something I had never thought about before, but I was thinking like, oh, maybe this has to do with how Aang was shunned in the past.
right,
Because in Aang's mind, it has been about a month since he left the Southern Air
right,
Temple.
right.
Um,
He's still adjusting to the fact that it's been like 100 years.
Yes. So to him, a month ago, he was being shunned by everybody at the Southern Air Temple for being the
Yeah,
Avatar.
yeah.
And now he's in the like and this is and because he didn't
And
tell everyone in the Southern Water Tribe that he was the Avatar, and there was no one at the Southern Air Temple. So this is the first time he's been at a village
and
where everyone knows he's the Avatar and they love it.
and that's a new feeling for him.
Mhm.
And so that's probably why, yeah, why he goes a bit overboard with it. No, that's a great observation. I hadn't thought about that.
And just the show is so good because it's like
Yeah,
when you
because
watch
then,
it again, you're like, oh
yeah,
my
you
god, there's
don't
so much
realize that
detail.
because you don't learn about, you know, him being shunned until like what, like towards the very end,
Towards the middle of this
the
season,
middle of this season.
yes, yeah, episode
Okay,
12,
I
the
couldn't
storm.
remember when
We
it
will get
comes
there.
in. I'm curious to know if, because I don't want to assume that like their little spat and like Aang calling Katara jealous is like a sexist thing. I kind of assume that because I feel I'm very hyper aware to stuff like that. Um, would you, if he
No, I
were,
totally
would
thought
it
that
be
there
the
was
same?
some.
You know, if it was with someone of the opposite gender, like
I
would this
totally
same
think
problem
there's a
arise?
set like I think because this episode is all about gender relations,
Yeah,
so I think you are meant to read into it that this is a boy getting attention from other girls,
girls.
and you can see how the attention of other girls is getting to his head.
Right.
And like the thing I wrote that this was like this male chauvinist bullshit coming from Aang to get
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah.
You like as I was saying, I think you can like it's understandable given his past.
Sure.
But there is definitely this element of he's not trying to appeal to a bunch of other boys like who think
Right.
he's cool.
Oh, I also wanted to talk about his guilt, Aang's guilt. It already he's like got the like I don't know what to call it, the like suffering hero complex or
Oh
whatever. Like
God,
he
yes.
like you
Like
know people are
the
getting hurt because of him and he just feels so guilty about it.
mm-hmm,
Very much like a Harry Potter type character, you know, like I didn't ask anybody to die for me
mm-hmm.
sort of reaction.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like in the future episodes, does Aang learn anything from this
Right.
where he's like, do I keep myself secret from everybody so that they don't have the Fire Nation
Hmm.
come down upon me?
Yeah, because that's
Like cuz
essentially why Zuko comes is because he reveals himself as the Avatar and then, you know, it gets
the
passed through the
rumor mill
grapevine.
gets
Yeah.
gets all the way to him.
Any other thoughts?
No, I think I am pretty set on that episode.
All
Uh,
right.
well, we will see you all next time on Rewatch when we talk about episode 5, The King of Omashi.
All right. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Do 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 diddly do pow.